the investment that we had concentrated, the image that we had built up on this pipeline is the only means of income to the Ahtna and its people. That's all gone now. And for survival, we don't know where to turn now.
Roy Tansey, president of Ahtna Incorporated, and he's got problems. His native corporation is facing tremendous loss of revenues, chronic unemployment for the local population in Copper Center, and a general uneasiness over what the future may bring. All of these problems stem from that long, thin tube running the length of Alaska, the Trans-Alaskan Pipeline, and the company that runs it, Alyeska. More about the problem later. First, what is Ahtna?
Ahtna is a small regional corporation, and Ahtna, the stockholders of Ahtna are all one people. They're all Athabascans. It's just proud. I'm just proud to be part of the Ahtna Regional Corporation.
Created by the Native Claims Settlement Act, Ahtna is the smallest of 12 regional corporations with a native population of 675. Ahtna is Athabascan for the people of the Copper River, the area they now live in. Even though they are small, they have done well financially. They were the first regional corporation to pay dividends to their stockholders. But the area means more to the people than financial deals. To 79-year-old Jimmy McKinley, who built this cabin in 1916, it's home. He is an elder of the Ahtna region and sang for us, in traditional Athabascan, a song he wrote about the region and the pipeline.
Pipeline that you because you let pipeline that you because you let Ahtna lost because you let Ahtna lost.
Oh, we have some beautiful mountains and a beautiful Copper River, and the land itself is just beautiful. And this was where the Ahtna is people that lives in this area for thousands of years.
Goal setting and careful planning are key ingredients to any corporation that wants to be successful. In Ahtna's case, Professor Dean Olson has played an important role as business advisor.
Early on, Ahtna, the board adopted a policy of investing at home. To Ahtna, that means investing in the Copper River Basin area. The goals that it seeks to move toward fulfillment are profitability, employment, and control.
Some of the corporation's investments have included this $1.5 million hotel and the buying of 3,000 shares of stock in the native-owned United Bank Alaska. But by far the heaviest investment has come from pipeline-related contracts.
It's fundamentally important. It's by far and away the majority of our after-tax income.
Ahtna is unique. It owns the only privately held land that the pipeline was built on. The pipeline crosses Ahtna's land for 55 miles, and the corporation feels they are in a good bargaining position with regard to Alyeska. Not only is the pipeline a major source of income for the Ahtna Corporation, it also provides the local people with jobs.
There's no other work in this area at all. And if they don't work on that pipeline, they're just not going to work.
In 1969, the Secretary of the Interior put pressure on the corporation to cooperate, let the pipeline go through their land. Ahtna granted Alyeska the right-of-way for $1 and what was called other valuable considerations, meaning contracts and jobs. This was significant because the government felt Ahtna could have successfully filed suit against the pipeline construction on their land.
That would have cost Alyeska probably about $2 billion. It would have held the construction of the pipeline up for probably a year, 18 months.
Construction began and the pipeline was built. But the Ahtna Corporation complained Alyeska had taken an 8-mile wide corridor rather than a 200-foot right-of-way that was negotiated in the 1969 release. Again, the Secretary of Interior stepped in and negotiated an agreement called Omnibus.
The Omnibus is an agreement which is designed to describe the basic relationship and the overall relationship between Alyeska and Ahtna. Ahtna agrees there in the Omnibus Agreement to provide uses and rights to land. In exchange for that, Alyeska provides to Ahtna the right to do all work where the pipeline crosses native land during maintenance and during construction operation, and the opportunity to bid for work on non-Indian lands.
Since the Omnibus Agreement in 1974, things have gone relatively smooth for Ahtna. The corporation formed joint ventures with other companies to work both on and off Ahtna land. The joint venture was named Meridian Contracting. At one point, 70% of the Meridian employees were native. Things went well until spring of 1978. Alyeska contracted with another company to work off Ahtna land. Ahtna called for arbitration as specified in Omnibus. Arbitration is still pending, but in the meantime, Alyeska has awarded another contract for maintenance.
So what happens when Alyeska gives a contract to somebody else?
It clearly is a significant financial threat to the company.
What section of the Omnibus Agreement do you feel that Alyeska is in violation of?
They're in violation of Section G.
Section G reads as follows. The parties agree that with respect to any of the aforesaid rights in the land of Ahtna or its villages set forth in sections A to F, Ahtna is to have the opportunity to do all construction and maintenance work or other required work thereon.
Ahtna is not doing that work right now. We've sought repeatedly to get to the negotiating table with Alyeska people to work out a contract relationship to provide the services on Indian land. Alyeska has not been forthcoming. We attended a meeting yesterday morning where they didn't even show up. So, as I said before, we're confronted with a group, an affiliate of major oil companies that clearly does not desire to deal in good faith.
Olson said Alyeska is also in violation of Section H, which reads in part, all such bids will be evaluated on the basis of Ahtna's capability of performance and by whether its bid price therefore is reasonably competitive. Currently, Ahtna is doing no contract work for Alyeska.
What's happening now for the 55 miles?
They are in trespass. What services are being provided by Alyeska and their contractors are being provided in violation of Omnibus. Hence, they are trespassers, and they will be sued for being trespassers.
As of October 1st, Ahtna has sealed off all access roads that lead to the pipeline where it crosses native land.
First we put up the barrel, didn't have any effect. Later on we chained that bar, the one bar there, theirs, and locked it, padlocked. They cut that.
They finally dumped gravel on the road to prevent Alyeska from gaining access to the pipeline.
Resolution number 4 regards Ahtna's dispute with Alyeska Pipeline Company.
At this year's annual convention, the Alaska Federation of Natives unanimously supported Ahtna's actions and urged Alyeska to live up to the Omnibus Agreement. But because of the dispute, chronic unemployment exists in the Copper River area. 34 out of 37 natives who worked on pipeline maintenance have been laid off. How many of you people are out of work now?
All of us.
Why? What happened?
Well, we lost the contract. It was taken away from us, given out. So come we're out of a job now.
How do you guys feel about that?
We feel that they was wrong for it. They just kind of pushed us out the door.
Yeah, they're not considering the local people at all. You know, I mean, most companies will. You know, they'll consider the local people. They're not even thinking about it.
They made an agreement that we'd have a contract all through the life of the pipeline, and they haven't stood up to honor their agreement.
Me, my feeling, I think that Alaska itself is discrimination against Indians.
Some people have been forced to look for work elsewhere. Bernie Klein says he's fortunate because he found another job in Kenai, but is bitter about the way natives have been treated.
But these people around here, there's just not going to be anything for them. I came up here 4 years ago and got to know these people. They got more pride than any people I ever met in my life. And they just ain't right. They don't deserve this. I know a lot of people around here got a lot of mouths to feed, and I don't know how they're going to do it. I just don't know. I think Alyeska owes these people something. Right or wrong, that's the way it is.
Alaska Review went to Alyeska to get their side of the story and to ask them some questions. Questions like, why didn't the Meridian Contracting Corporation get their contract renewed to perform maintenance work for both on and off Ahtna land? What is their interpretation of Section G and H of the Omnibus Agreement? Have they discriminated against natives? Alyeska refused to answer our questions. However, they did issue a statement.
We've acknowledged from the outset that there are unresolved matters in dispute between Alyeska and Ahtna, and these matters are subjects of arbitration proceedings and litigation involving the two parties. It's been our position, however, that the proper forums for discussion of these issues are the courts, the formal proceedings before the arbitrator chosen by both parties, and direct communication and discussions between the parties. Furthermore, it has long been our policy to avoid public discussion of matters in litigation before the courts, and certain issues in this matter have been in litigation for several weeks. In fact, an order regarding some of these issues was entered in the U.S. District Court only last Thursday. The order, it appears to us, was aimed at enabling the issues to be resolved without, as the court described it, harassment of either party by the other. For all these reasons, we think it is in the best interest of all now to avoid public confrontation on the matter and rather to continue to work with informal channels toward resolution of the matters in dispute. We appreciate the invitation of Alaska Review to tell our side of the story and to respond to what have been described to us as serious accusations against Alyeska. However, we have tried from the beginning to avoid confrontations of this kind, which we feel could only lead to exacerbation of the very problems we're all trying to solve. If this long-standing policy of Alyeska results in a one-sided presentation of this issue in the news media now, then that's a penalty we'll pay, reluctantly, of course, but willingly, in exchange for the ultimate fair and equitable resolution of the issues.
I think we felt like, we were a partner of this when the line was being built. I don't think that they should have used this, us people, They just abandoned us,
This shiny fleet of World War II bombers and transports are on contract to the Federal Bureau of Land Management. They make up a portion of the Air Force that fights forest fires in Alaska. The state is just beginning to get into the fire business. They're looking at a new airplane to combat fires that would modernize firefighting in the state at $2.5 million per airplane. But there's also a modern viewpoint that fire in some cases might actually be good for the land, and that we might not have to be spending millions of dollars trying to kill every fire. Wildfire, next on Alaska Review.